Hello, everybody. I'm back again to review the first episode of Married at First Sight, Nashville. Y'all know me. I got my notes. But my overall sentiment is that a lot of people can look good on paper, but just not work in person. And something is missing in how this process works. And I think it'll be entertaining. The season will definitely be entertaining, but I just don't know if we're gonna see many successful relationships from it. So I'll kind of go a little bit through some of the couples, and then we'll talk a bit about the bachelor and bachelorette parties, and then we'll end with Shaquille and Kirsten's wedding. And I was saying Kirsten the whole episode for my guesses, so I'm sorry, Kirsten. It's Kirsten. Sorry, Kirsten. It is not Kirsten. Got it. All right, so with these intro scenes from Shaq and Kirsten, I just don't know. I just don't know. Just the way that Shaq moves, and not saying that he's not a good guy. I'm sure he is, but I don't see it. I really don't have that much to add, because they are, until Kirsten can get away from the physical, and maybe see his personality and see what else he has to offer, it's gonna be really difficult for them. Maybe she'll have a Jamie and Doug type of situation where Jamie was like, ooh, when she met Doug, but now they're still together, multiple kids, all of that stuff. Maybe it'll be like that, but the likelihood of that happening is kind of low. And one of the things that Kirsten kept saying throughout the episode was that she wanted something to be everything that she dreamed of. Everything that I dreamed of. This show does not work for people who have pictures in their mind of what they want. If I can't go on Married at First Sight, and have an ideal of what this person will look like. And the same with the other person. They cannot have an ideal. Somebody can't come and say, oh, we really want a girl with locks. She's not pretty if she don't have locks. And you come in, you got relaxed hair, and they're like, oh my gosh, you don't have natural hair, she don't have locks. That's not cool, right? Or I can't go in and be, thinking, she said, it was so funny because her friends were asking her, so what if he, what do you think, what do you want him to look like? And she's like, yeah, short haircut. And they were like, what if he's bald? And she's like, I don't know about bald. And Shaquille is bald. So it's little things like that that make me feel like it's going to be a huge warm-up period, at least for them. But we'll get a little bit into them later since they have the wedding. But I just didn't have a lot to say about them just because it was obvious, or it's gonna be interesting seeing if they could kind of click on common grounds of something that they're both interested in, or hobbies or something like that they can really gel with in order to make this work. So I'm not sure. So that is what I wanted to say about Shaq and Kirsten for now. Mac and Dominique. Why is Dominique the old soul? I just don't understand why they're calling her the old soul, because she's 25 and they're trying to make it seem like she's more mature than a 25-year-old, and I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. She's still 25. Regardless of whether she's mature or not, she's still 25. And then I saw where Mac was living with some friends, some family friends. No problem there. But does he have black friends? I'm just wondering. You know, like, has he had experience with black people? Has he dated a black woman? I just kind of want to know that. Just because even though it looks like she's mixed, she's still black. So I'm just curious if his circle is really into that and can be supportive of her culture. Just curious. Because there's some some white dudes that you'll be like, oh yeah, they went to the black school. Like, you know that they have diverse friends, stuff like that. But Mac, I'm not sure. He's cute though, but not sure. His story about his ex, that was sad. That was really sad. And I just still can't picture how that happened. Like how he was actually living with her and being with her a lot. And then she texts him with a ring. That's sad. Like if that's how it really happened, where she texted him and said that she got engaged even though they were together the night before. He said that part about them being together the night before on the after party. So with Keisha Knight Pulliam, but I just don't know. Like that is sad. So I hope that he doesn't that didn't become a chip on his shoulder or something that makes him emotionally unavailable. Because sometimes men can be really hurt by when things like this happen. So, yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to say about Mac and Dominique, just in general, and all of the kind of like we're just starting this process type of conversations. Clint and Gina. Gina might be a little too prissy for Clint. Like, that's what I wrote down. That she's a little prissy. She has, she's put together. And I don't mean prissy in a bad way. But I just mean that he seems kind of just like he has the wild hair, all that type of stuff. And she just seems put together. Her friends seem put together, She talks about traveling. And I'm thinking that she's thinking like Greece, Rome, Spain, Paris, Tahiti, something like that. And he's talking about sailing, in his area. He's talking about adventure. So I'm seeing him I'm thinking he's more into backpacking or, waterfalls and things like that. And I think she wants to just explore. So I'm curious on how they'll vibe, because traveling can be different from adventure. So I think that'll be interesting. Also, one of the things that Clint said about his previous relationship was that they were together and then they ended up breaking up because she was trying to be who he wanted her to be. So I think that he wants people who can fit into his life, right? Versus being able to merge lives together. So he's going to want someone who's going to want to get on this sailboat with him. But what does he have to give? What are you going to do with that person? So I'm really curious on how he can have a successful relationship when he clearly wants somebody who can just plug in to what he's already created. And that's not how relationships work. And it definitely doesn't work like that when you're married at first sight. Like, you literally have to merge your lives together and kind of be with each other versus insert wife here or insert husband here. It doesn't work like that. So definitely still not sure about them. Like, I just don't see that working, because I think they have completely different lifestyles outside of, like we said last week, where they were talking about him being a stay-at-home dad and her being the working mom type thing. Like, that's okay, but I don't think that's the whole story. All right, Christopher and Nicole. I think Nicole seems very genuine. Yeah, she's a little fun and she has a big personality, but she seems genuine. I also hope their dogs get along because they both have dogs. And we saw what happened last year with the dog problem, where we had a couple whose dogs fought each other. I hope that doesn't happen this time when they move in, or I hope they have some sort of procedures now to help these couples integrate their animals. So that was something I was thinking of. Christian seems like a really genuine, nice guy. And there is potential there. There definitely is potential there, especially if he wants somebody who can open him up some. And I thought it was funny at the bride meetup. She was talking about a safe word, like, just give me a safe word if you just want me to shut up. I was like, yeah, that's how it works sometimes. For those of us who talk a lot, who like to talk, sometimes we need somebody to say, chill out. It's okay. So I thought that was cute. The last couple, Eris and Jasmine, I thought it was nice that Eris knew that he was picky, that he has his own thoughts of what he wants. And I love Jasmine's personality and telling her family, like doing the never have I ever. I thought that was cute. Thought her family reaction was really cool. So I still think they'll be attracted to each other. So I think that part will be fine with them, but it'll be interesting to see, how their lives mesh together. Especially because Jasmine got 4 dogs. Like, 4 dogs? Is she gonna bring all 4 of those dogs to the apartment? Like, that part, I'm kind of like, so you get dogs every time you think you want to have a baby? Please, girl, chill out. Because a lot of us will be having a whole litter of dogs here. So that's a lot. And so let's go a little bit into some of the conversations that they had when the guys met up and the girls met up. The main thing was Eris and Clinton having sex 2 weeks ago. Like, they literally found out and they had sex right before that. I mean, technically, he's right. They were still single. But I hope that they close the necessary doors so that they could take this process seriously. Eric said he didn't delete the app. So kind of like, boy, if you don't delete these apps, clearly he hasn't watched Married at First Sight before, because we had that problem in Boston. When Katina had the app on her phone and Elijah Wan saw it and he was not feeling that. So even if you haven't opened it, even if you did all the things, like, you might want to click the X. And then if you get off of here, then you can build it back up. Screenshot your stuff, send it to your computer or something. So you can get back on later if you need to. But let's go all in. Like, I really want people to enter this process going all in, versus let me hold on to my dating app. So I thought that was kind of whack. So I hope that he kind of gets that together, and that he's serious. Treat Jasmine well. I also thought that there were a lot of themes of people being really, really positive and talking about, this is my last resort. Dating has been so crazy in Nashville, and I haven't found the one, and this is my last resort. And I'm kind of like, y'all, there are other things we could do besides going Married at First Sight. Let's not see this as our last resort. Let's just see this as an option. Like, this is an option for me. The options that I was taking were not working, so I chose this one. The bachelorette party with Dominique. she was really, really into the stripper guy. And I was like, well, at least she likes white guys. At least we know she likes white guys. So that was just interesting to me. Because I don't know if it's editing. I don't know what it is. But it's kind of like, yeah, you got conversations. You can have a little fun. You could do all the things. But now y'all really are like talking. So I hope she didn't, give him her number or anything like that. So that was different. Clint, of course, he was just wild at the bachelor party. I just don't see him as husband of the year for anybody. Like, he seems like one of those people who just needs to be Uncle Clint. Like, Uncle Clint. Like, he could be Uncle Clint. So, those are my basic observations from most of the episode. So now, the wedding, right? So here's one thing. I'm actually really happy because we have these 2-hour episodes of Married at First Sight, and lately they have been breaking out this first episode into like 3 different episodes. So I'm glad that they brought it back into one to have the people telling their family and friends, also the brides and grooms meeting each other, the bachelorette party, and the first wedding. I'm so glad all of that was in one episode because it makes it easier to actually digest and watch and stay on there for the whole time. So thank you, Married at First Sight, for that. So Shaq and Kirsten, they're getting married. Whoop, whoop. So Kirsten went to the dress shop with her family and friends and tried on her dresses. Kirsten has a body. She got a body. She looks good. And I think Shaq will appreciate that. I think he really will. So she looked good. I was like, girl, you got this. You gonna look great. He gonna want you to turn around so you can walk back the other way. So she looked really good. Shaq went to the tuxedo shop and he wanted something different. And he brought his mentees from Tennessee State. I think he worked at Tennessee State. So he brought his mentees with him to go suit shopping or tuxedo shopping. I thought that was interesting. I'm guessing maybe his family's not in town, or people are coming in like the day before or something like that. So he wanted people, but he did have friends that he told about him getting married. So I'm curious why he didn't bring them to the tuxedo shop. That was different for me, but I thought what he chose was nice. He seems to be someone who is fashionable. So that was cool. Now, when Kirsten's mom, I don't know what happened there. That was kind of weird. They might as well left that out because we didn't really get an explanation for why she was late or why her phone was off or what was happening. So kind of feel like they missed the mark there because they built up all this drama about her not showing up. And then she just showed up and hopped in the hair chair, you know what I'm saying? Or makeup chair or whatever. So, didn't really understand that. Also, Kirsten's dad chose not to come because he didn't want to get a COVID test. That part doesn't make sense to me. A lot of people don't want to get vaccinated. That's fine. But you're going to miss your daughter's wedding because of a COVID test? That was I just didn't understand that at all. Just say you don't want to come or just say you don't want to support. And on the after party, she said that he lives in Nashville. So it's not even like he had to hop on a plane. He just had to drive over to the venue. Could have Ubered, Lyft, whatever. But you didn't want to take a COVID test? I just don't understand people. It's one thing, like some people have issues with the cameras. Maybe they have like top secret job or something. I don't know. some people have issues with the camera. Some people just don't support the married at first sight process. I get that. But not wanting to at least get tested, like he avoided getting tested the whole COVID. That's crazy to me. So that's interesting, but I'm glad she, still made it and she did it herself. I thought that it was interesting how she told her friends, like, they were like, what's the sign, girl? What's the sign? What we need to know? And she said, yeah, well, if he asked me if he could kiss me and it's a yes, then I'll let him kiss me on my lips. Now, if it's a no, I'm going to have him kiss me on the cheek. And we saw in the previews that he kissed her on the cheek. So she, like I said, she's not going to be initially attracted to him, period. So that'll be interesting. I thought the moment where Shaquille and his grandmother was lovely, and he revealed on the after party that his grandmother passed shortly after the wedding. Like, that was one of the last times he saw her. So that's emotional, especially watching him watch that over. But I'm really interested to see how their actual wedding goes, and what the reception looks like, what their conversation will be like. Is Kirsten gonna go, just be mean, or is she gonna just go with the flow? Is she gonna be up front about how she feels? What is he gonna feel? All of that. I'm really curious on how that'll play out, and hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of their reception this upcoming episode. But overall, this continues to show me that Married at First Sight is crazy. And I really hope that somebody makes it. It would be nice if somebody could make it. But like I said, the only people I had was Eris and Jasmine. And Eris told us that he didn't even delete his apps. So I don't know. But next week we'll get to see more wedding episodes. We'll finish Shaquille and Kirsten's wedding and see maybe 2 more weddings. So really excited for that, to kind of, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how people feel about each other. And super glad to recap Married at First Sight with you. So subscribe. And be back with me next week to recap another episode. Bye.